Alrighty, so we'll just get right back into where we were. With Michael Porter, we were talking about the efficiency numbers, and the numbers are great, just comparing them to Wilt Chamberlain, all that stuff. But here's what's crazy. If you look at actually just the last 38 games, which again is the second half of it, they're actually even more absurd. 57% from the field, 47% from three. And a majority of his attempts, coming in this like back half where he's really become a volume and shooter and more of a key guy, the higher efficiency for him this year. So I think there is hope that not only, the playoffs are going to be tough, the style of play, the competition level, all that stuff is going to be more intense, but I think you could actually look at his rolling 10-game average and be like, he's actually a better shooter now than he was back in January or December.
I feel like we were waiting for that percentage to come down.
And it went up.
Right. We were like, no, there's no way he's a 45% three-point shooter. Right. There's no way he's a 46, 47. And he is. Like, he just is, man.
So I think he was 42% last year, and he was 42% for, like, the first half of this year. And I remember that might have even had a tweet I put out that I was like, he is a 42% three-point shooter. We're through 150 shots. He's probably this. Right. And, like, no, we were wrong. I do think he might be a little bit better than 42%.
Imagine if he was getting even more open shots.
Well, that's the exciting thing about a Jamal Murray. And an exciting thing about building the Nuggets offense going forward is I feel like Denver can use the gravity he creates even better. But so new to the system, Let's move on now to number two. Number two on my board. Can the Nuggets defend Dame and CJ? First of all, who draws these assignments?
I was going to say, is this a yes or no answer? No. So I think I imagine Facundo Campazzo starts and guards Damian Lillard.
Yeah, he's going to be all up in his grill.
And I think Austin Rivers probably still starts, right? Assuming nothing changes in terms of health and guys coming back.
So he gets CJ.
He's been okay. Not shut down or anything, but he's been I think a quality defender for stretches, and he's played against some quality guards. For a whole playoff series, though, I mean, this is clearly advantage Portland in this arena, right?
Yeah, I'd say, is it weird that I almost have more confidence on Austin Rivers on McCollum than Facu on Dame? Like, if you go back and watch Dame's shots from that April game when the Nuggets won by 1 point, 106-105, Facu was on him for most of the game. Dame did not have a good shooting night. I think it was like 9 of 20 something.
Hell yeah.
But he got to his spots. And I don't think Dame
think he was off?
I just think he had a bad shooting night. And he can have 1 or 2 or 3 of those, and that can swing the series. But I don't think Dame is going to be, intimidated at all by Facu. I think he's going to be able to do what he wants. Facu can frustrate him a little bit, but I think Dame's just going to be confident in getting to his spots and getting to where he wants against him. The biggest guy the Nuggets are missing is Dozier, because in that game, Dozier played like the entire fourth quarter and guarded Dame. So that's tough. But they've got good defenders. Facu, Austin Rivers, Shaq Harrison. They've got defensive personnel.
Yeah, I mean, really last time in the past when we would play Portland, it would always come down to whether or not Gary Harris was going to be out there. Like, he would be
He was great against
defense.
Dame,
yeah, he would lock down Dame. I don't know, man. Facu is annoying enough that I feel like he can actually make a difference on Dame. Like, whether or not he shuts him down, it seems unlikely, but can some combination of Monte, Shaq Harrison, Facundo Campazzo, like, all sort of like come together and just make his life difficult enough that they remember, and we all remember, that they're the 7th or the 6th seed. They barely, they did not have an impressive year. They had injuries, but it's not like, they were setting the world on fire. Like, every year we talk about the Blazers, or the Blazers have spoken about it. It's like, is this going to be the time we finally break up CJ and Dame? Like, they're not going anywhere. They can't get it done. Like, I know that we're going up against them, and so now it seems like and they beat us last time, so it just feels like, oh man, this is inconquerable. But I don't know, man. Like, having Shaq Harrison, like an ultimate defensive specialist, to go up against McCollum specifically, I just feel more comfortable than maybe I have in the past, like just even earlier in this year, where we was like, man, who's our perimeter defenders? Who are they?
Do you think Aaron Gordon spends any time on the guards?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting question. Dame is probably too squirrely, quick. Yeah. And I wonder if CJ is too. But CJ, to me, is at times less a blow past you guy and more a tough shot maker.
He's a step back guy.
And do you want to counter that with some size? And Gordon's a pretty athletic, bigger guy. So I think we see that for stretches. I don't know if we see it maybe as like a primary assignment for a whole game. Rivers on CJ makes sense to start. But if Malone's trying to give Portland a different look, I think we see Gordon on CJ at times.
Yeah. And also maybe just end of game, like last 10 seconds was going to be one possession. Like, can you throw size at him? Can you throw enough bodies? I mean, the one thing, you take out Jamal Murray and Will Barton, two obviously great players, but they're more offensive players than defense, and you replace them with a little bit more defensive players. So I'm curious. It's funny that last night, or it's not really funny, but last night I think they put up 43 points in the first quarter. I would love to have been able to use that quarter as like a little bit of a measuring stick, but I mean, we just can't. Like, there were too many. That game was too ridiculous to be able to really glean anything from. But,
I mean, look, the Nuggets became a better defense when Jamal Murray got hurt, Will Barton went down, and Facu started playing more. Shaq Harrison got in this thing. Austin Rivers was signed. I don't think that's a coincidence. Like, they're a better defensive team in their backcourt now than they were earlier this year.
Yeah. My next question on here is, what will Aaron Gordon bring to the table? We kind of touched on it here maybe, but, you know, if we think back to 2018, we joke about it all the time. Rodney Hood went off twice in that series, and it really was the difference. Like, the role player, it was him both times. Carmelo is probably that guy now. Norman Powell is a little bit that guy, although Norman Powell's more of like an actual good, star. But those are two assignments he can draw. Like, is it enough to just say, hey, take Norman Powell, Carmelo out of this series? And is that enough of an assignment for him to make him feel like he made an impact?
Well, yeah, and so far as literally no one could do that to Rodney Hood. Like, literally. So
it's so funny watching Rodney Hood these days. He sucks, man. How is that the guy?
He sucked then, too.
Well, he tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah,
so I don't want to be too hard.
Yeah.
So I get your point. It's not like, Gordon's value is maximized when he has a Doncic-esque assignment, and he doesn't have one in this series. But Jokic versus Dame and CJ, Jokic and Jamal versus Dame and CJ was kind of neck and neck for 7 games. And I thought Portland's role players outplayed Denver's. I think, Gordon really helps in this series, I think.
And can he just absolutely clown Carmelo Anthony on the offensive end? Can he just
what would that look like?
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
Slashing, dunking.
That would not be a 7-game series I would want to watch. just Gordon and Melo.
No, I'm just saying, but that is what Carmelo Anthony's game is all about. Is he is gifted, transcendent, brilliant, offensively speaking, and then he's just an absolute liability on the defensive end. And Aaron Gordon has scored in the past. I know we still have not really seen it here, but I just can't believe that he doesn't have the ability to ramp it up when needed. I'm just really curious to see how your theory of him being Wilson Chandler, just always playing at 80%, which implies that there's another 20%. Are we going to see that extra 20% now that we get to the playoffs?
There definitely is another. I mean, he does play a very smooth pace, and I think it's fine. It can be overstated. Not everybody can be Facu, the 100% motor or whatever.
Not everyone should be.
It should be. You pick your spots a little bit. I just feel like he picks way too few spots. But again, he's coming off of an ankle injury, regular season, all of those different things. But now it's a playoffs, and Denver just needs so much from him that I do think defensively, especially, he's just got to be. I saw somebody refer to him as a younger Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap.
I think it was Terry Stotts.
Was it Terry Stotts? Oh, yeah, it was Terry Stotts last night. Yeah,
I said that. I got clowned. Although maybe I don't want to associate myself with Terry Stotts.
Stotts and Eric. No, but a younger Paul Millsap. Well, Paul Millsap is a guy who's not fast. Even he plays at a smooth pace or whatever. But he has another gear where he gets in and you're like, Millsap's everywhere right now. Gordon, we need to. That's the number one thing is I think you have to feel like defensively, Gordon is everywhere right now.
Yeah, he's got to be an A+ team defender for Denver in this series. Picking up guys and help side when Dame or CJ beat Denver's guards. He's got to be there. I think that is the more important part of his defense than one-on-one. Because do you remember when Carmelo was cooking the Nuggets and Michael Porter, I think it was in that April game, and he had 20 points and he was hitting all those mid-range jumpers and the step backs and the jab step pull-ups. If the Nuggets are going to get beat by that, I mean, those shots that Melo was hitting, I don't think anybody can defend.
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Dude, do you remember how good a defense Denver played on Melo that game, and he still went off?
You got to make him uncomfortable. You got to take away the catch. You got to push him further out. I mean, that's a regular season game. But here's the thing: the Melo storyline is a big one. That it's going to be an emotional one. Melo's points, especially in Denver, count for a little bit more than extra. Gordon has to sort of absorb that philosophy and be okay, there's something to this. I got to make Melo an unplayable player in this series, it takes a little bit of the bite out, of the series. So, and then offensively, the slashing, yes. I do think, look, I don't like him shooting threes, but he's going to have to shoot a few of them.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And if he can have a 3-for-3 night, Denver's probably winning that game.
But I also think you gotta. Gordon is not Torrey Craig, right? It's not just stick him on the wing and pray he hits some open jump shots. Can he get involved as a screener, a cutter? Attacking the glass at times can get redundant with Porter out there, but he can't just be a boy. I hope these jump shots go in, because there's more to him than that player. For everything we've still said about his lack of scoring prowess.
And they don't have great wing defenders, other than Covington, who will be dedicated, I'm sure, to Michael Porter.
Yeah. Okay. Or will they try Norm Powell on Porter, which I thought they did in the first quarter of that game, but I don't know.
But Porter's going to go off. He had 3 3-pointers in that one. I mean, he'll go off. So I think eventually this ends with them putting their best defender on Michael Porter. But, does that mean he can use his size and his strength on Norman Powell, grab a bunch of boards, get a bunch of second chance points? I think that's going to be key for him. I think it's a big series for Aaron Gordon. I think he's been good in Denver. And when Jamal Murray was healthy, he was the rug that tied the room together. But Murray's not here, which means he's got to be something that he's less comfortable being and less good at. But it's the playoffs. Somebody's got to elevate themselves, and I think he's the key. On that note, can a role player on the Nuggets roster swing a playoffs game or series a la Rodney Hood? Again, even that year, Rodney Hood wasn't great. He was okay. And who is that going to be?
Man, I've been thinking about it since Eric said it last night. Shaq Harrison. Talk about how can you disrupt Dame and CJ? At least in short stints, that is one of the most disruptive, guard defenders I've seen.
Yeah.
So, can he for a quarter or a game, right? Can he bother CJ and or Dame? Can he swing one of those dreadful third quarters where the Magic's drying up? Can he poke a ball loose or two, swing some momentum? That doesn't seem too far-fetched to me, especially in a series where you're asking, can anyone slow those two guys down?
I'll be honest, I don't see it. The only way I could see it is like a great defensive, but he is such a liability on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an air ball wide open 3 yesterday, I believe. Like, he's a really rough offensive player, and Denver's going to have so much defense on the court already that he's the one guy that I just don't know.
But he could easily be using a Torrey Craig role, where it's like CJ is giving his problems, he put Shaq Harrison out.
But it's like having 3 Torrey Craigs already and then throwing another Torrey Craig in there.
It's true,
like,
but then you have
there's a
MVP Jokic in the middle.
that's true.
To me, the answer is Austin Rivers.
Okay.
Austin Rivers is a guy that has scored 40 points in a playoff game. Austin Rivers.
He has?
Hasn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he had.
That's a lot.
40 points is an awful
I
lot.
thought he had. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's played in a lot of playoff games, and he's scored at high clips at various points in his career. Like, do I expect him to? Not really. But, I mean, it's in him. We saw, like, he was very bad when he came. He hadn't played in 2 months, and then suddenly, like, he got his legs underneath him. He had 2-3 really good games in a row. He's just draining 3-pointers. Like, he can absolutely get, like, Rodney Hood hot and just, like there's an Austin Rivers quarter where all of a sudden he scored 13, 14 points.
If you're an opposing team, is Austin Rivers the most frustrating guy to really go at? I mean, he's like almost like Jordan Clarkson or any of these guys where it's like if he hits 3 threes in a row, you're like,
exactly,
we're getting Austin Rivered.
Exactly.
Eric, his playoff career high is only 25, but his career high is 41 against the Kings. So
there we go.
That's what you're thinking of.
He has played well. All right, Harrison, who's your guy?
Aaron Gordon, if that counts. I feel like Gordon's got the opportunity to have some like 7 of 10 shooting nights, some 10 of 12 shooting nights, because Portland's defense is so bad where he's going to get a lot of buckets if he wants to, just slashing to the rim for layups, for dunks. I just feel like if Denver runs its offense and keeps the motion up, keeps the movement up, he's just going to get a lot of easy buckets by just running and cutting and jumping and catching lobs. Like, I think he can have a bunch of really high efficiency games.
What about Paul Millsap? Millsap was playing really well over the last couple weeks. He's a veteran. I don't think he's going to retire this offseason, but like he can see the number of days he has left as an impact player. And honestly, it might be. I mean, who knows? If Denver moves on from him, does he want to go to another city, whatever? Like, this is coming to a close a little bit for him, and I think he's looked great. This is a matchup he can make a huge impact. I think whatever staggered or bench minutes you can play is going to work. And then, just defensively, is he going to make any mistakes? No. Can he be a guy that goes in there and makes? We just talked about Aaron Gordon. He needs to be in everywhere. Can Paul Millsap have 2 or 3 games in the series where he's everywhere defensively, and you're just like, man, when he came in, nobody scored on the Nuggets.
It's
for 4
totally
minutes.
possible, man. Paul Millsap sometimes comes in, and you're like, oh, right, Paul Millsap. Forgot about that guy. And, he's been conserving energy, theoretically, or maybe that's what he has. But, can he come in, especially in this first round, and make a little noise in first game, second game? Totally.
And if I were to tell you, just catch and shoot, not created 3-point shots, but if I told you a role player caught and shot 3 for 3 threes in a quarter, in a clutch quarter.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Austin Rivers, Paul Millsap, Campazzo, all those guys, you say, who's the most likely? Just catch and shoot. I think Paul Millsap's as likely as anybody to go 3 for 3 in a catch and shoot
Hey man, just
situation.
last postseason, it was his third quarter after Morris got in his face, and he swung a game and in many ways a series. So I've really liked Millsap off the bench. I know the bench has been in flux around him, and we've seen him have some bad stints under those circumstances, but I think he's been good in that role. I'm with you. I think
Who's the odd man out?
He can be helpful here.
Is it McGee?
I think it might be Shaq Harrison.
No, I mean of the front court.
I think JaVale probably in this one. I mean, you've got Cantor, who maybe you feel like you need JaVale if Cantor really makes an impact or whatever, but I think that clearly Malone's default will be the J. Mike and Millsap combo. He trusts that group.
Especially because you're not really worried about them scoring at the basket as much. Like you're worried about their guards just picking you apart. From
You got to
outside.
rebound too. You got to rebound
For sure.
too.
For sure. He didn't rebound great last night, McGee, but I guess we can't really take anything from that game last night.
I don't think so. What about Monte Morris?
Dude.
Could Monte Morris, Mr.
Yes.
Nugget, could he be the guy that
Mr. Yes, dude.
Eric, he's a question mark to me right now. So this is to both of you. I mean, do you feel like you know what you're getting from Monte?
Yeah.
I do. I feel.
I do.
He looks steady to me. He looks
Yeah.
steady, if not explosive or spectacular, steady.
I only mean the injury, to be clear, not Monte.
I think
No, I
Monte
know,
will
but he
either
looked-
be injured and out, like he re-aggravates it and out, or unnoticeable. That's what I think. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a whole week to get back into shape. He's already had a whole week. Remember, he's been ramping up conditioning even before then. Then he played a couple games. Then he has a whole week. I just think and he's not playing. He's probably a 26-minute per game guy max. So I think his conditioning and feel, all that stuff is going to be fine.
Yeah. He'll be fine, but I don't think he's gonna have a series tilting.
hit
game
your
or
catch and
anything.
shoot threes, right? That's what he
And
didn't do 2 years ago.
pick and roll pull-ups. I think pick and roll
Yeah,
pull-ups will
that
be
too,
huge.
yep.
He's the most likely guy to do that. So
Totally.
I actually think there's a good chance for him to be the guy. Playoff Facu. We didn't mention Facu, but almost because he's
Oh
like
my
his
God.
own character, his own category.
That's the answer.
Well, we have our own graphic. This is one of the ones. I don't know if y'all pull it up there.
Oh, yeah, dude. Look at that graphic. That is Facu.
This to me is one of the great storylines of this season is playoff Facu. I mean, the numbers are real with his time in Europe. Somebody from the front office sent me that comparing his regular season stats in his European career to his playoff stats, he's like 1.4. So like regular season 40% better.
Okay.
Wow. It's like listening to a podcast at 1.4 speed. You just get so much more done.
He gets so much more done. That's all I
All
do,
these
by the way.
activities.
That's all I listen. I never listen to anybody on regular. It sounds like they're talking so slow.
What did his 3-point percentage look like?
It was great. I can't remember, I can't remember the numbers, but it was great across the career. So those numbers.
Because
went up.
that's what it really probably comes down to. Like,
Yeah, it
if
really
he's hitting
does.
his open threes, because he's going to get them. He's going to be open a ton. So if he's hitting his threes, I mean, yeah, he can be an absolute difference maker.
Dude, there's just something in some people's brains that just flips on. It's the fight or flight thing. And
Yeah.
he's got it. Like
He's 5'10". He's been in fight mode the
Maybe.
whole time. He's never
Yeah,
had the flight. It's
but
always fight.
No, I know, but there's like fight mode and there's ultra fight mode.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not scared of you versus like I'm locked in. Like I've become a predator, right? And he's got that. Like when his back is against the wall, clearly,
He's a foxhole guy.
We've not the foxhole.
He's,
Yeah,
he's a foxhole
Yeah.
guy.
the foxhole. We've just. I mean,
believe we're
we
going there.
haven't seen it. Like we've not seen him in that situation, but I can completely imagine it. Like you just, I don't know. Like last night I was riding my scooter home. A guy almost hit me with his car, and then he started yelling at me, and I was like, "A chill, bro." Until he started yelling at me, and then I was like, "Ah!" I started screaming back at him. I'm like, that's Facu, dude.
Wow.
Like it just, I went right into my brainstem. It just like was outside of my personality.
Did the
Like,
box of meat fall off the scooter, or
Did you
did
say
it?
you're taller than me? I'll kill you.
Yeah. But I mean, there's just something about there are switches in people's brains. And to me, it sounds like Facu contains a switch that he maybe doesn't have access to, but can be toggled.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, all my friends down south in my DMs, they tell me if you think he's playing with a high gear now, wait till the playoffs. I literally cannot fathom what it would look like for him to play harder, but I am curious to see. He's got to hit those open shots. What I'm looking for, guys, is the Dame factor. I mean, he's got to make Dame. I'm not going to say he's going to guard Damian Lillard, but can you? Are there moments where, as opposed to Dame transcending to that elite 1% scorers realm, is he maybe more like pissed off about the ticky-tacky fouls that Facu's getting away with?
Well, this isn't important.
The man's
head.
but
you're right about that. But here's the flip side of that. Damian Lillard's a superstar.
Right.
Damian Lillard is a mega superstar, really. Facu is a no-name. He has a weird name. So I do worry about his. I feel like Facu has really figured out how not to foul. Remember early in the season, fouling out.
I was going to say that's been one of the big kind of areas of growth from him. He doesn't get into nearly as much foul trouble as he used to.
But the playoffs, they're not going to be even, especially when you talk about star versus role player. And that's one of my big question marks: is can he avoid foul trouble?
That's a great point.
And Damian Lillard is going. Damian Lillard has to know, with as shorthanded as Denver is, Facu is a target to try to draw fouls.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a huge battleground. The next one I've got Carmelo Anthony versus the city of Denver. Backup notebook here.
Yeah, I have.
We're so rich, man.
Sorry. This is a really big one, man. Carmelo Anthony versus the city of Denver. A weird relationship. Carmelo has. You don't even fully understand it. You picked up on some of it though. Like it's not necessarily full on hate, but it's also not like full on acceptance either. This one I feel like we're at the pre-battle, where everything's like, oh, cordial, this or that. This series, by the time it's at the midpoint, I feel like there's going to be some real, it's going to be on edge. And Carmelo, I think, is going to be at the absolute heart of it.
If you're looking for a guy to fill the Rodney Hood role, if you're power ranking those guys on Portland,
of course,
Melo's that guy.
Yeah, of course.
He's that classic guy coming off the bench. They're going to run their offense through him with that second unit. He's going to get his looks. He's going to get his shots. So I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of hatred towards Melo this series.
What do you think the reception? What do you think it'll be like Melo playing a playoff series in Denver?
Well, it's tough because the Ball Arena won't be totally full. But I mean, he's coming in. This isn't the first time he's come back. He's gotten he's gotten scattered applause or whatever. But
not this time. There is a difference between we're over it to
now. I'm saying now it's going to be F you, Melo. He's the enemy. He's the straight up enemy this time. It's once the series is over, people will be able to transition back and look at the larger picture of who he is and blah, 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 blah. But right now, he's what's standing in between us and what we want.
Yeah.
I see some folks in the comments saying Melo's washed. I mean, it's still at one point in the series, if not more than once, you will have those 3 to 5 minutes where Melo has a moment.
And he's not washed. He's actually had a good year.
Yeah.
Better than last year, I think.
He can score. He can be a big one. 0-10 in Denver. Is there a psychological sort of advantage you have or advantage you lose if that record goes down?
A little bit of a big brain take, but maybe Melo forces the issue a little bit in Denver. And for everything we just said about being worried about Rodney Hood, there's a little bit of me that's okay, Melo's shooting instead of Dame. Okay.
Not a bad idea for a sign if our guy Fruity Nugs is listening. Maybe try to get Melo's head a little bit.
Melo. Stay shooting, Melo. Yeah, there is something to that. That will be interesting. I don't think of Portland as a particularly disciplined team either, so it seems like that could, there could be a little bit of hero ball that happens. That would be amazing.
This is why this series is both great, but also there's the you're on a roller coaster going up the climb right now. That's the
playoffs,
feeling we all have is there is some genuine. That's why we were talking about at the top. There's some genuine I don't want Melo to win in Denver. I sure as shit don't want him to win a playoff series in Denver. You know what I mean? So there's this extra little bit of intensity to it, even though it's a relatively low stakes series.
There's gonna be feelings hurt.
There's gonna be feelings hurt. I hope it's theirs.
The only guy missing from this series is Seth Curry. The only guy.
Dude, so sassy.
So sassy.
Dude, I'm fine with that.
Next one on the list. Can the Nuggets get off to a good start? This sounds like a silly one, but it's not. the Nuggets started off against San Antonio down.
Right.
They got off to Portland. I guess they got off to a decent start in that one. You talk about the Utah Jazz down 3-1. Clippers down 3-1. The Lakers, they got down. So the MO for the Denver Nuggets is to get off to slow starts and then adjust and then really go to the foxhole and take over. So to me, a hot start is really important in this series.
Yeah, I don't see one coming.
Really?
I think it was just such a weird last week for Denver. I
Yeah,
mean, there
it
was
was.
an immediate sort of galvanized. The goal hasn't changed. But then by the last week, it was a little bit like, I sure would love for this regular season
Yeah.
to be over. Portland just whooped up on them. Of course, we all know the context, but I don't know. Portland's been playing such great ball for a long time. I think they're going to enter this series kind of rolling, where maybe Denver needs to be the bear needs to be poked a little.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if a team had to adjust to the Nuggets instead of the Nuggets adjusting to a team
Wouldn't
after
they
a couple
do?
games?
They do.
Well, they do, except for he's talking about in a series. Like, Denver gets up 2-1, gets up 3-1 even, and they have to go to desperation.
The
mode.
whole thing, like, to me, again, like, we're looking at this in a certain way, but Portland's like, okay, we got these guys, but, like, how are we going to deal with Nikola
Right.
Jokic? Like, how are we going to – we can't – like, Nurk thinks he can cover him, but at a certain point, like –
I don't think Nurk thinks he can cover him.
starts to clown him. Like,
Just a good point. Sorry, by Evan McKee there. That with regards to what I just said, I think the week off here probably favors Denver in that regard. Then
For
maybe
sure.
cool off some of that momentum
Yeah,
and reset
definitely.
the
That's a good
slate.
point.
yeah, for sure. I think they can absolutely get off to a hard start. Like they come in. We've got this week. They really start to talk about things. I mean, when you're playing with Nikola Jokic as the center of your offensive attack, like, you can really start to be clever about the sets you
Right.
run. You can, like, really be, not just going in and being like, all right, cool, we're just read and react, which there's a lot of that, but, like, you can also just, like, start to put them in weird positions. Like, I just feel like this entire series is going to be about how they can respond to what we are putting out there.
Right. I do think it's important, though, for Denver to get off to a hot start. Their scoring is so tough. You think about coming back in both series. I mean, Jamal Murray was a big part of that, and it was him getting really, really hot. Denver has a different mold now. To think about them, like, getting hot, I don't know if that's the sustainable MO. I think they're going to have to win some games on defense, some games on three-point shooting, some games on Jokic, some games on Portland. Like, they're going to have to win in a variety of ways. And so I think the start of this series is going to be incredibly important.
Yeah.
And I do think that you throw out almost everything, Denver's record, Portland's record to end the season, you throw all that stuff out because 8 days off before they actually play their game, it's just going to be a whole new season. Everything's going to be new. Next one we have here, this is a really interesting one. How will an increase in arena capacity affect the game? The crowds are back. We have been so long, over an entire year, with like no crowds or such limited crowds, but the Nuggets are going to be close to 50%. It's going to feel like 50%. I'm so curious how this will affect them.
I think it's going to make a big difference in Denver. And then if you look at Portland, they were the last team to start letting in fans, I think. They only have 2,000 fans in there.
Wow.
That's going to
2,000
feel
is
like
nothing.
Yeah, that's going to feel like nothing. So that's a huge advantage for Denver.
2,000 fans is like, so what did their stadium hold? Probably 17,000, 18,000?
Well, I think that's only 10%.
So 10% of their, man, that's crazy.
20,000, yeah.
If you think of like one row, skip 10 rows, one row, like that's what it
2,000
looks
is going to
like.
feel like you have friends and family there.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
that's what it's going to feel
We
like.
played this. Did you guys do this, Harrison, with Fairview, where you played at? It used to be Pepsi Center, but you get to play like the tournament games or whatever.
Sure.
And yeah, that's how it felt there. Like even then, it would probably be more than 2,000 fans, but you get in there and it was dead silent.
Yeah.
and like you can't like. There's somebody like way up top that's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, you could hear them.
8,000 fans in Denver, that's a legit number. That's going to feel like a regular arena.
I also wonder if 8,000 is enough. That I wonder if KSC does the thing where it's like all employees can come for free.
Yeah.
So it's really 10,000 because you have 2,000 workers that are there.
I think it'll make a difference. I think it's been an under-discussed, you guys have mentioned a couple of times, but under-discussed storyline this season. And some of the teams that have looked good at home, well, wouldn't you know, let's put our detective hats on. They've had fans. And so I think Denver having a fan advantage, in addition to having home court advantage, that's a true home court advantage, I guess is how I would frame it.
Yeah. I think it's going to make a big difference. Michael Porter's the one I'm most interested in. And I don't even know if it's in a good way or a bad way. Like, even if you have a bunch of fans, are you all right, Kel?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry. I was just sighing.
Oh,
Thought the stream died again.
Jesus, man! What the hell?
Are you okay, Kale? You okay?
Get you some candy or something.
But
after the show.
Michael Porter, I am curious to see if the adrenaline gets going.
Someone buy
Sometimes
Kale a root beer on me.
sometimes a guy will shoot a shot like way too, like they're just so jacked up and it hit the backboard all hard because they're so excited.
Right.
I wonder if he gets a little bit of that because his almost entire career hasn't had fans. I think he might be a guy that's a little juiced up to begin.
I think they've played in front of so many different settings this season. Almost full crowds, no crowds, in between. I think Porter's going to be fine. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Portland does have a great crowd, 2,000 fans. Bummer for them.
Such a pity.
Such a pity. It's such a pity.
I mean, it sucks because we live in the same world, but they're bound by a different set of rules.
As long as the two fans from Spanos tweet are there.
Oh, they'll be there, but they'll be masked up. Unfortunately, we won't see their
Their
sorry
sad
frowns.
faces. How should the Nuggets manage Will Barton's potential return? We saw a very ambiguous Instagram post today from Thrill saying he knows something we don't.
What?
So he
knows a
sleeps
lot of
better at
things we
night. He
don't.
probably knows a lot we don't know.
Just about the world.
And we could add PJ Composure to the list. I don't know, if he's expected to be back or not. But Brendan, you're in charge. You're Michael Malone. What's the? Will Barton is ready, but he didn't get to practice all week. But he's ready by game 1.
I mean, so you absolutely cannot start him. But the other thing that you can't do here, I think, if you're down, I suppose you can, but it's not in their MO. They are a loyalty team, a culture team, and they're paying their guys back with opportunity. Now, Barton has missed out on a lot of the playoff. I mean, he was there for the first playoff run, but he wasn't himself. Misses the other playoff run altogether. If he comes back and Denver says, hey, man, we just kind of need you to sit this one out, I just don't. That's not in Denver's MO. That doesn't seem fair to Barton, and it doesn't seem the way that they carry themselves, whether that's for better or worse.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be ready by game 1 or 2, but later in the series, I think he could be.
Emotional boost?
I think it could be an emotional boost. On court, I'm a little worried. You do get a couple things with Will Barton. You get shooting, which I think would be big for this Nuggets team, who's kind of void of that a little bit. I mean, Will Barton's like a 38% three-point shooter. I would be a little worried about like the other aspects of his offensive game after so much time off, but an emotional boost for sure. Absolutely. So, I think he could come back, and it's going to be a tough little variable to handle. That's an understatement.
Would you feel more comfortable with Will Barton returning with the series tied, maybe Nuggets down 1-2, or up 2-1?
The thing about playoff series is it's like always good to bring some unexpected factor into the game.
That's true.
Like we brought Gary Harris back, it completely changed.
Totally,
He didn't bring anything offensively, but it was like a different defensive look. Once people start to lock, you start
Even
to see
PJ Dozier last year, like a
Totally.
little one game as chaos agent,
you
makes
just
it work.
Yeah, like once you start to be able to key in on understanding the weakness of the other team, you attack it. It's always good if there's just some variability, like to just make, even if it's not, like. I mean, you think about Will Barton coming back from injury, and it's a horrifying prospect. We've seen it before. It like takes him, and it takes most people. It takes weeks and weeks for him to get ramped back up and to get where he needs to be offensively to regain his rhythm. Thrill especially like requires athleticism and rhythm in order to be his best self.
I don't think he's going to have the athleticism part.
That's what
the
I'm
only
saying.
thing,
That's my point. Like so. It's unlikely that we're going to get the best version of Thrill that we can, but can he disrupt CJ McCollum? Can he just be sort of like another person that can sort of disrupt things defensively, like potentially? And it could just be an emotional thing. It just kind of changes the dynamic. I don't know what to expect from it. Like frankly, it terrifies me, but it's never a bad thing to have a wild card.
It's tough to have a lot of expectations.
I'll tell you what I was thinking. I would rather him return games 3, 4, or 6 on the road. Because he got booed in the arena last time they played Portland. Last time he came back from injury, like right before the playoffs. And if he came back and missed his first 2 or 3 shots, would the arena boo him? Maybe. And I just
probably.
It would piss me off as much as it would piss him off.
Guys, don't boo Will, please.
Yeah, it's not gonna
Other
make a
side
difference.
of this, not that there's necessarily animosity, but just hype. Portland. It's a reunion for Barton as well. So does he? Like he knows those guys. He knows Dame. Does he play a little extra harder in Portland too? Does he force the issue maybe even?
Here's the last one, and easily, in my opinion, the most important one. Can Nikola Jokic rise to the occasion?
Yes. Next.
I'm with Eric on this one. I kind of think that's I mean, obviously there's more to say.
When I say rise to the occasion, here's the thing, though. No, because there's more to say. Here's the thing. LeBron James 2018 or whatever, right? Loses Kevin Love, loses Kyrie Irving, and it's like, well, it's all over. I don't even know if they'll make it to the finals or whatever. And it did. It's like he went to a whole other level. And I think with Jokic, like, is he going to have a good series? Yes. Is he going to have a transcendent series? That's what rising to the occasion is. And look, he's the MVP. Take the kid gloves off. There's no more about, can he average 28 and 10 and 8 and no one has ever done that? No, those are Jokic numbers. We need Hall of Fame MVP Jokic level. I think
winning time stuff.
Winning time stuff. And given how Portland is constructed defensively, not great, and given how much Denver needs, I think this is a series Jokic needs 33, 34 points a game.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the answer is yes. I think he can. I thought Jokic sort of scraped that God floor stuff the first time he played Portland. And I know it's a different Portland, but it's different Jokic. It's MVP Jokic, who particularly has understood this lesson of, especially like with these injuries, hey, I might have to move a little faster at times. I might have to force the issue. I might have to force 2 or 3 shots up that I don't want to. But against Portland, I can, and those shots will go in. And I think Jokic knows that about himself now. I'm excited to see it.
I hear Eric Cook on this one, though. I'll let you be the voice of reason to maybe stunt off of whatever it is Eric has to say.
Oh, Harrison goes last. What can Nikola Jokic do in this series? How can he rise to another level, and can he do it? Like, you can just look at this season as the macrocosm of this being the microcosm. Like, we were like, does Nikola Jokic have another level to his game? We ask this every single year, and every single year it's like, oh, yes, my God. Like, at a certain point, you're like, is him being just included as first team all in?
I don't think I'll be honest. Utah first round last year, first 4 games, that was not the case.
I know that was last year.
Down the stretch he did, but first 4 games, no, he can't do that this year.
Last year was very weird. It was in the bubble. They've been living in a weird hotel for a very long time. We know that Nikola Jokic is an emotional person. He can be weighed down by things. I just think that like the last month, however, has just been. He's hearing the things that we're hearing, whether or not he wants to. Like he knows that people are begrudgingly acknowledging him as the de facto MVP because other people got hurt. But, there's an agenda out there. LeBron James put it out that Steph Curry's the MVP. Like, I kind of think Jokic just wants to be like, let's go. Ball game. Let's go.
Oh.
Like square up. The second the season started, like it was just... We just saw Jokic, like a different.
It was a
version.
different Jokic from game 1.
And so to me, I'm like, why aren't we going to see that in the playoffs? We're just going to see Jokic come out and just be a stone cold killer.
He averaged 26 in the regular season. What's he going to do in the playoffs? In this series?
30 plus. Every game, 30 points every game.
Okay. What do you think, Harrison?
I'm in agreement with a lot of that. I don't think he's thinking about like the MVP stuff at all.
No, but just like doubting him.
I don't think he's thinking about anybody downing.
Possibly.
I don't. But I think he's going to have a huge series because this is a matchup he's just really comfortable with. He's played Portland so many times. He knows how they defend. He knows Nurkic. He knows that personnel. I just think this is a matchup and a team and a defense that he's going to be really like relaxed against. And he's just going to go out there and play. Like the Nuggets don't have any expectations. Internally, they do. Internally, Jokic thinks he can take this team far. But I think Denver can lean into that, and he can lean into that. And just going against Nurkic, I think it's just going to be relaxing for him. He's just going to play his game, I think.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's the MVP. He's going to win it. You lose this series, no matter what, it's going to be an unfair narrative. Now, here's the thing about it. Unfair is also fair. When you're at this level, I mean, LeBron James dealt with this for years and years where it's like, you saw 2009 playoffs. He was incredible. They lost. Was it his fault? Yes. Like it has to be because as great as you are, you have to find a way for your team to get above it. And all those criticisms are both unfair and fair at the same time. And I think the same thing is headed for Jokic. And look, I love the guy. I hate the things that get levied against him, especially like because he does prove it in the regular season. Oh, lo and behold, here are the Nuggets, the 3 seed. And people still like, well, this guy, I hate all that. But They will have a bullet in their chamber if the Nuggets don't get through this first round series, of which they are favored, by the way. The Nuggets are favored in the series to go. And to get through them, I honestly think it's going to take his best series we've ever seen. And I agree with think we're going to get it. And that's the exciting part about this entire series. I think he is ready.
Yeah.
Not only ready, I think he is eager to get in the ring.
That's why I think you're right that it's fair. Those criticisms would be fair. As annoying as they are, I expect Jokic to get this done.
Yeah.
Portland or Dallas, he still should. I expect him to.
Yeah. And then go from there. That was our 10 storylines.
Oh, wow.
Should we keep going? Should we go to 11?
Well, I think
This team goes to 11.
I think I don't know if we're gonna. Do we have a quick mailbag we can get to here, Kale?
We can do 2 or 3.
All right, let's get to 2 or 3 here.
This is a fun one. What would Aaron Gordon bring to the table at a potluck?
I love this question.
What?
He's a California bro.
We asked what does he bring to the table.
Yeah, he
in
probably
this
brings
series.
some like poke or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could feel definitely some poke. I feel
either
sushi.
that or a fat sack of weed.
a bomb ass burrito.
Bomb-ass burrito. Yeah, something like that.
I love that question.
Over under on Dame technicals after being guarded by Facu all season.
0.
Yeah, he's getting 0.
Dame
He's,
doesn't get teed.
no, he,
Facu technicals 2.
Yo, but we're gonna get some fire quotes in the pressers.
Oh, for sure, man. They are going to stun. I mean, Argentina needs to be prepared. You are going to hate the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh my god,
You are going to hate them,
dude.
Argentina is going to
Start
hate
to stretch.
all of Portland, Oregon. I'm
stretch
telling you,
right
start
now.
stretching now. You know, get some Milanese.
They're not going to appreciate your boy.
Get
They're
some
not.
all back in
They're
here.
not gonna
Like,
like
let's really. You're gonna have to really calm yourselves because I'm telling you, or just get ready for a fight.
Yeah.
I'll let Eric read this last one.
Let's see here. How many dunks is Yoke going to have? I'd like him to posterize Nurk in a Game 7 in crunch time. That would be special. You know what? I'd like to see him do it in Game 4 where they close him out.
A nugget sweep is like a nugget sweep would be too great, especially a Jokic like a 35. Nuggets have like 10 days off
Oh
before
my
the second
God,
round. It'd be so great. Like Nick Wright every day has to answer questions about it. Yoke, do this favor for us, man. Do this one favor.
Is it
for
too
us.
much to ask you for you to absolutely clown
Absolutely
Yusuf Nurkic to win the
annihilate.
game?
Quick little ShamWow here. NBA Rookie of the Month for May. Out East. Anyone want to guess?
Out east has got to be.
Is that even a real conference?
It's
I don't know.
it's friend of the Nuggets, RJ Hampton.
Oh hell yeah!
Who I'm just gonna root for RJ. Me
too.
Hell yeah.
I've
Me
decided.
too, but
Rookie
like
of
with
the
a heavy
month,
heart.
huh?
Rookie of the month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Rookie
East,
of the
rather.
month.
Excuse me.
What?
I don't know. It makes me feel like we're gonna have some regrets moving forward.
No regrets. The Nuggets also built like the favor, one of the
I
favorites.
like- no,
For
I-
a week there, they were the best team in team history.
You're not
Best
wrong.
team ever.
You're not wrong, but that's not how regrets work.
That isn't how
Well,
regrets
true,
work.
actually.
Do I hear so? Is there like an Ethernet sound?
Is there a problem? Or?
Might be.
Oh,
Is there,
God,
what
no.
is that sound?
Please
Issue?
no.
Please no! Oh, God! Oh, no!
Come on.
There it is.
pandemic's
oh, my
over.
Goodness. Are we? I guess.
Wow! Holy cow!
Okay.
Welcome in, everyone. It's my time now,
I hate
It's
it.
your time.
guys. I spend a lot of my time online. I know that you do. I know you do as well. Harrison, I'm not sure about, but
Every time.
I'm offline a lot these days.
I like to spend my time online, and I like to find some of the best things I can and bring them to you in a little
right.
segment we like to call "Online with D-Line." Let's have a
Never
look.
heard of
Let's have a
Let's
look.
have a look,
shall
see.
we? So the first clip comes from Worldwide Wob. This was in a game last night against the Jazz versus our beloved Kings. Let's take a look, shall we?
The biggest turnaround since Paul on the
wow.
road
Oh.
to Damascus.
Showtime!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
It's so bad. The strange thing is, like, if you watch this several times, like, if you really do the Zapruder film treatment on this and you just kind of look at the bench, like everyone's ready for it, and then they're like, oh God.
You're
Oh,
unchecked.
no.
Yeah.
They start to cower.
And we're down by 20.
Oh, sad time.
And
To
our
be honest,
season's
I don't even
over.
know what player that is.
Yeah.
That's national champion Kyle Guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's just the guy. You know.
It's just a guy. All
Well, I
right.
think that's now
Just a guy.
that's now Kyle Boy.
It's incredible.
Kyle Boy.
He went for that windmill done. First of all, you pull that off. Does anyone even clap? You're down 25.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's the like you get up. And
He's
you're
trying to
moving
get
the
himself
towel.
cut from the Sacramento.
Oh, there you
I
go.
think he did.
Sabotage
Succeeded.
40
himself.
chest.
All right, so that's pretty good. So what else is going on online these days, guys? Kale, you want to bring up just the next one?
Trying.
Kale's trying. That's what's going on online.
And we know you are, buddy.
Technical difficulties.
Wow, what is going on online these days? I know. I think Kel has his face up.
Listen, Kel.
Kale's online.
What's the motto of this show, Kel? We'll do it live.
We'll do it.
I finally freaking got it.
There we
Okay.
go.
This meme was given to me,
It's a good one.
and I just feel like it's very perfect. We have LeBron James as depicted by one Kanye West, two Nikola Jokic as Taylor Swift. I'm going to let you have this, Jokic.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry had the greatest MVP season of all time. Ridiculous. LeBron James, what are you doing, man? Like what? Like
You know what he's
know
doing.
exactly what
we know
he's doing.
exactly what he's
Can
doing.
can we say it
Did
out
you-
loud?
Yes, we can say it out loud. Also, Jared Dudley last night. No champion will have ever had to do what we are trying to do. If we do this, it will be the greatest journey to a championship any team has ever taken.
Hall of Fame grifter, Jared Dudley.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Shout out Jared
Oh
Dudley.
my God, dude.
I hate it, but you have to respect it.
You have to respect it.
You don't
You
actually.
have to respect
Jared
it,
Dudley
even if
looks.
you hate
Jared
it.
Dudley looks like his name is Jared Dudley.
That's true.
Like,
That
he
is
just look.
true.
He just look like a
I can't
meltdown.
believe Jared Dudley is catching strays, and this all LeBron told him to say these things. You guys, he's just collecting his check.
I'm having such a hard time respecting LeBron James.
Dude, you have to move on. This is what happens in life. You can hold the respect for the period in which time he
I know.
earned it.
I know,
He is
man.
no longer earning it, and you could put that part in respect or in its own
Disgusting.
box.
Well, that's one thing that's going on online. What else is going on online these days, guys? Let's take a check. So the Utah Jazz really feeling themselves. They put out a
They
little
are.
tweet.
Wow, that is exactly like the 7.
They put a tweet out saying
Except for there's all of them.
Team Vibes
The 15.
Immaculate paired with this
Wow,
photo.
look at that
Yeah.
photo.
What
The real.
Look at this.
The fake. The redux. The real. The redux. The fake.
Imitation, the
The
greatest form
imitation,
of flattery.
man.
Imitation the greatest form of flattery and being the victim of the first photo. Which was another form of flattery. Like, that's the worst. You know, I thought about this. I was like, how mad should it be? Because also, again, tagged with this photo, they said that their vibes are immaculate.
That was the part that really pissed me off.
So here's the thing, guys. As much as I think it's lame of the Utah Jazz to try to co-op our brilliance,
Yeah.
it also solidifies ourselves as the
Oh,
most
boy.
influential,
Unbelievable.
most influential
Right.
sports media site in the world.
Right.
First it was Dallas, now it's the Utah Jazz. I'm telling you, it's often imitated, never replicated.
unbelievable.
This
The Indiana
playoffs is
Nuggets.
just going to be a vibe off.
It is going to be a vibe.
Well, I told
off.
you if we were
Competition
going
for
to
the
play
vibes.
the Mavericks, it was going to be the Immaculate in first round. We don't have that. Now it's just revenge time. Speaking of which, if we could key this up, I'm ready for a little bulletin board material. I don't know if you are. or
Give me a
not.
second. I got to add influencer to my LinkedIn page.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at first off. Just. We've
Poku?
looked at this. We've
You
just
like
looked
the Poku photo?
We've looked at this image of Poku before. Poku is the one that decided our matchup. Poku nailed
great
a
tweet.
3-point shot at the end
He
of the
did.
game. This is essentially our architect. I
I'm
guess.
telling you,
Like,
man. Everybody
this
needs
guy.
to go back and watch the fourth quarter of that Thunder Clippers game.
It
It is honestly the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
That game should go in the Hall of Fame. Like a very
should.
specific wing.
But
it
how
should
can
be
you
there.
have somebody that does not have a wide neck have their
Yeah.
neck be the same width as their head?
Right. The neck is the same width as his head. I've never seen that.
This is, the photo of LeBron when it's like no players ever come back from 3-1 and he looks like a complete badass. This
Yeah.
is the opposite of that. It's like the same, but the exact he does not look cool at all.
The greatest thing is I can't decide if he's making some kind of face. Is this Poku's
I think that's
resting
his face.
face?
I think that's
Yeah.
his
Is this the
resting face.
RPF?
resting face.
This is the resting Poku face, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so in on Poku.
We got to get Poku.
So yeah, we got to get him, man.
So all right, so I just want to key up. So we have a lot of new people that have entered the NCU that are now part of our world.
Oh, they weren't part of
They're
the
not.
NCU
They
2
did
years ago,
not
3 years ago.
understand what the playoff series that we went through Portland with was last time. It was psychological warfare. It was warfare on the court. The two cities nearly came to blows. Portland played this very, very obnoxious role of being in a position of morality and constantly having.
Oh, dude, that's the Portland MO. Are you kidding me?
constantly having the Nuggets go after their morality. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through a few of the reminders of the last time. So this was one of the images. This one came from our own beloved Brandon Spano.
Such a good tweet.
It says, "Why does this feel like the ultimate representation of Portland Trailblazers fan?" This just came up on the during the broadcast, and we all were like,
The whole thread.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in here. The girl is wearing earplugs. It's too loud. The guy is wearing a little sticker that has the Portland mascot on it. It says, "It's my first game." And he's wearing a collared shirt that he put
Brandon went a little hard on it,
and he put a little jersey over it. They're clutching each other to make sure that things don't get too sad.
The only reason I like this one is because I just assumed it was in reaction to Jokic boxing out in this Cantor, which became a whole
can we bring
fiasco back in the day. Speaking of which,
What else is going on?
can you take a
online these
freaking
days,
look
guys?
at this, please?
So Inez Cantor, look at this.
The first ever flop on a box out.
Inez Cantor, we all know that his shoulder was hurt, and Nikola Jokic, being the unscrupulous, dirty player that he is, boxed him out by hitting his shoulder. And Inez Cantor
This
sends this
is
to.
maybe the best box out I've ever seen.
This is the saddest thing I've ever seen take place.
I can't remember who it was. I want to say Kevin Pelton, but that's mostly because I don't want him to unfollow me. But I think someone put a compilation together of Jokic and Nurkic boxing out, and that's what it looks like every time.
Yeah, of course it
He
is,
just-
because that's how you box
That's
out
how
in
you
the
box
playoffs.
out.
Dude.
He's pulling the chair.
And then he tagged NBA official, and it's just like
He tagged
the
NBA
loserest move of all time. It's indefensible. And the
just
fact
realized-
that so many Portland fans were like, yeah, we want to talk to the principal. We want to speak to the manager.
Inez Cantor became such a focal point in the series. There was this, and then I don't even have it. The next tweet was him laying on the medical
from his phone that he clearly handed someone.
He was
to
like,
lay on.
whatever it freaking takes. He kept saying freaking.
What a
and
phony.
Then he claimed that the Denver crowd screamed out racist things at him because they
No,
said,
that was a Portland
I think-
writer, and I think that one
And I
actually
think that
probably
really
happened.
Yeah. I don't wanna-
whatever.
Well, no, I mean, that's
they
not
used it
great,
as an
but-
indictment of the city of Denver. That
It is
somehow
true. It is true.
Portland became a beacon of morality, and they were preyed upon by the evil denizens of Denver because somebody said that he should go home. But oh wait, they forgot he can't because he's a political refugee.
That was like
No. I'm
bad thing
gonna
to
push.
say.
It was, of course, it was. It's
Okay,
not a
well-
representation of a city.
Yeah.
The state of Colorado went to the Supreme Court to fight the immigration ban. Like, we have a long history of welcoming immigrants. So to take this one thing out of context, or in the specific context, to say was bullshit.
I think you
But
can
whatever.
say that shit happens in every city.
It does.
no kidding.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, Cantor?
That became this whole moral thing about Denver
Yes.
being some cesspool, and Jokic, the center of it, with his like
And then,
horrible.
and then Portland's done nothing but burn their own city down since then.
Oh,
All right, let's
all right,
go
that's
to
too far. That's
let's
way
go
too far.
down to
Way too
the airport. Let's see. Wore Blazers gear to the Denver airport. Oh, you made it too small, kid. I can't read. Can you put?
To make it bigger.
Okay, well, it said wore Blazers gear to the Denver airport, thinking people would give me shit. One person was like, "Weren't the Blazers in the playoff?" No one else said anything. It's not because the Nuggets fans are nice. It's because there aren't a lot of Nuggets fans. People. This became a meme as well. If you start to see
famous
people,
tweet in
if you
Nuggets
start to
Twitter.
see people referencing going to the airport,
Just the place I go when I want to talk sports.
we all
Panda
of Nug-
Express at the airport.
all of Nuggets Nation had
Terminal C.
started laughing. We had a great time with this, talking about that's what we do. We just go to the airport, we hang out to talk about the Nuggets. Like, granted, it's not a bunch of international travelers. It's all Nuggets fans that congregate at the airport to talk about whether or not the Nuggets are a team worth talking about for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So now you know, guys. There's a rich history, a lot of tweets, a lot of bad feelings. It's going to be flared up again. Argentina, we need you. Serbia, we know we have you. But just get ready, guys. It's going to get weird.
It's gonna get weird for sure. Is that it?
I think so. That's it.
Alrighty, that does it for today, guys. Tomorrow, George Karl, 1 o'clock. He and I going to be breaking down this whole series. I can't wait.
Can't wait for that.
Probably try to get some clips for him.
a little homework for you. If you're making a trip, if you're headed to the airport, you know what to do.
Wear your Nugget stuff,
DNVR
dude.
gear, man.
What?
Head to toe. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Sorry. I got an important. Wear your Nuggets gear. Make sure you talk to Blazers fans about the Nuggets. If you see anyone wearing Blazers gear, make sure that they know that you're a Nuggets fan. It's important.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like button on your way out. We'll see you tomorrow.